Do you know the top things that burglars look for if they get into your home to steal things? On Coffee with Alain today, we're going to talk about what these criminals look for, some of the top things. That way you can keep them where they're not easily found and maybe thwart a criminal that will only want to be in your house for a short time if they do break in. We'll talk about keeping them out another day, but today we're going to talk about some of the top things they look for. Welcome to Coffee with Alain. Tramp on my cup today, and he's there with Lady. But if you remember Tramp, he protected the home, right? Killed the rat that was after the baby, and often dogs can be something to help with home protection. They're not the be all and end all. There are a lot of different layers, and a dog can be a layer to help with your safety. We're not going to talk about that though today. We are going to talk about things they're looking for. Going to stop for a moment and say good morning to Kellen, who said thanks, Alan. Appreciate you being here, Kellen. Hope things are going well today. So what are criminals looking for when they get into the home? Now, by some of the statistics, a lot of times criminals are in and out in less than 10 minutes. They can't afford to stay in your home too long. And the majority of burglars will go in during the daytime when the home is empty because people are at work, people are at school, nobody's there. Again, we'll talk about some strategies to prevent them from coming into your home on a different day. But once they're in, what are they looking for? And what do we want to keep sort of out of sight, not easily accessible if someone were to get in our house? First one is cash. Obviously, cash is a gold mine for a criminal. They got the cash. They don't have to do anything else with it. They have the money. Now, I don't know how you want to keep your cash or how much cash you want to keep at your home. They do have banks and safety deposit boxes and things like that to keep your money. But if you have cash at your home, keep it somewhere where it's not easily accessible. And, it could even be $100, $200 that, you have in a jar on the counter or whatever for, when people show up at the door. I mean, I like to have cash available when girls show up with Girl Scout cookies or Boy Scouts show up selling popcorn or any of those other things that kids show up selling. I want to have some cash to be able to help them out. But I don't want that cash sitting on a jar on the counter or, in the open. Okay. Keep it somewhere where it's not going to be easily found. Next thing is electronics, especially small electronics that can easily be put into a bag and left with, and they're sort of out of sight, out of mind, hidden. And, we're talking, video games, the consoles, the handheld ones, laptop computers, phones, tablets, those kind of things, the small electronics that can easily be put in a bag, and they can actually sell those pretty quickly and get some cash for them. Another big one, guns. That's one should be pretty obvious. If you have firearms, they should be locked up and stored securely. That's a big thing for thieves, and they go into your bedroom and find your gun there beside the bed or under the pillow. They just have a big score. Guns have a pretty good markup value on the street. People that want to buy them illegally because they cannot buy them through the legal channels. So there's good money in guns. So make sure if you own firearms that they're secured and locked up and not easily accessible and visible if a thief were to get into your home. Going to stop for a moment and say good morning to Jay. Good morning, Vicky. Appreciate you guys being here. Jewelry, another one that's easy to grab, easy to get away with, and easy to sell and make some cash with. And, especially if you have some high-end jewelry. And remember, a criminal, if they just get a little bit for your very expensive jewelry, it was worth it for them. They're not going to go fence it at the, place where it's going to give them necessarily top dollar. They can get rid of it and make a little bit on it, and they're happy, especially because it was so easy to grab and stuff in a pocket or in a bag that they have with them and make some money. Personal identification is another big score. Now, this would be you leave things out in the open, your bills, mail, bank statements, things that they could get a hold of and get personal identification. So then they could have some identity theft, get into your different accounts and so forth. So you don't want that kind of information readily available and laying around if a criminal were to get into your house. Okay, so they're looking for things that could assist them getting online, getting into bank accounts and those kind of things. So we want to be careful with that. And another one that is pretty popular for them to be able to grab quickly and make some good money on, different medications. So if you have different medications, prescription medications, those can bring some good money on the street. Different meds have different price levels, obviously. And so if you have those around, easily accessible, they're going to grab those and want to be hitting them too. So cash, small electronics, guns, jewelry, personal identification, and medication. Those are some of the top things that a criminal that gets into your home, if they can score those quick and be out, that's what they're looking for. Going to say good morning to Eric. Appreciate you being here. Eric says good morning and happy Pizza Friday. Jay says, or your trash. And he's talking about personal identification. And that's very true, Jay. Many private eyes, many criminals have gone through trash and garbage to get information about people. So it is not wise to throw anything with your personal identification and numbers and those kind of things into the trash. We want to shred those, destroy those. When I was in Korea, we had burn barrels all over the camps, and anything, mail, anything that you didn't want, we put in the burn barrels and destroyed it. I mean, that included personal letters, anything that came, because we didn't want any of that kind of information to get in the hands of people that could use it for bad things. So that's a good practice that I've had ever since the military, is I do not throw anything away without it being shredded finally or destroyed somehow. So good point, Jay. Eric says, nice hoodie. Throw on shorts and you can be in Congress. I actually got this one, last month when we dropped the daughter off and got her signed into her second year there at Wharton. When her first year, I got a t-shirt. They didn't have any hoodies available at the bookstore. And so when I saw this at the bookstore, I had to get it. So I have to support the daughter's school. That's what I wanted to share with you today. Just a few things to make sure you don't have readily available and laying out, and don't let people know that you have them. People don't need to know that you keep cash supply at your house if you do. People don't need to know all about your electronics or if you own firearms or expensive jewelry, or if you take certain medications. More of that you just keep private. Nobody needs to know about it, the better. Because people do know about it, and it gets into the wrong people's thoughts, then they want to target your home because they know that stuff is in there. All right. So keep that kind of stuff private, keep it secured, keep your home secured. Don't want to be a burglar target in the first place, but if you are, those are some of the things that they're looking for to score the quickest. I hope everybody has a fabulous Pizza Friday for Eric. I'm going to go get some work done, and I will see you tomorrow.